Everybody has watched a One Piece live action, and it has been one of the best things I've ever seen live action wise. And even like as a TV series, it did a really great job. In today's video, I'm reacting to Ohara's comparison from the worst and the best scenes in live action of One Piece. There are a few things that I think was questionable, like the Garp Force ones or the Marineford ones. Helmeppo being, I'm not saying attractive, but good looking man, and Usopp not being as annoying. Let's check it out.
One Piece might actually be the best live action adaptation ever.
Yeah,
but
it definitely is.
A ton of changes that were actually made from the original story, like how instead
Tons.
of meeting Zoro tied up at the marine base, he is literally introduced by chopping this dude in half, stuffing him into
also, I didn't expect like them to show blood. I was like, what? It had me like so off guard because I just didn't expect that. I expected like a Disney type film, like no gore whatsoever. It's like a tad bits of blood, but no, bro got chopped into pieces.
Back and taking him straight into a bar. Like, seriously, what the heck is going on here? And actually, speaking of bars, they also added
when he ate that chocolate off the floor, my ew.
to many of the bars in the series. Like, what? I mean, I guess the whole One Piece world has upgraded from the anime because electricity seems to be just a normal thing pretty much
I was gonna point that out.
It even shows up on battleships.
It was something that
Kaya's mansion. Okay, but now let's go back to the very beginning for probably the biggest change in the entire live action. That's because Vice Admiral Garp shows up at Roger's execution and gives this super serious speech, which is not like his character from the original show at all. But that was just a start because Garp's entire storyline of chasing down Luffy was just completely made up for the live action specifically.
Which is, it's okay because it's like, oh my god, it's so clapped. But it's okay because the pacing has to be faster and I have to change like a bunch of things, which is fine. As long as like it still like follows like the main narrative and what you're doing, so I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. Some people wanted like a carbon copy, which is not gonna happen.
And while I really enjoyed the added development for Kobe, the extra tension
I
of
like Kobe live action.
Mind-blowingly hilarious Helmeppo scenes that we'll talk about in just a moment.
Is it Meppo or Meepo? I would say
Helmeppo. Of Garp just barely resembles the loose cannon rule-breaking Vice Admiral that we all know from the anime. And speaking of the legendary Helmeppo himself, he was pretty much just a goofy character from the anime, but he had the most shocking scene in the entire live action
Bro's cheeks were out.
Episode, he was just caught butt naked playing with Zoro's swords, looking like he needs to.
Bro, when I saw that, I'm just like, yo. I was like, no way this dude's cheeks are out on my screen right now. That was insane.
Compensate for something. And what's even more impressive though is the absolute powerhouse of a battleship that Garp now rides around on. I mean, honestly,
my dog was like doing
this
something.
Is much more intimidating than his original ship in the anime right here.
Yeah.
It's kind of cute. On the other hand, one of the most
actually, if you see a ship with a huge dog face with a bone, you might be more intimidated because, it's literally a dog after you. So I don't know. It could go either way.
Pointing changes for me was that the live action just completely skipped the very end of Luffy's backstory. Because in case you don't know, in the anime, this scene shows Luffy at age 17 then, ready to set out to sea on his adventure. And as he leaves, he lands this massive punch that completely knocks out this giant sea monster, showing us all just how much Luffy has actually grown. But no, just completely cut from this version. But maybe they skipped it for this insane reason, because there is no doubt in my mind that the live action versions of the characters are way weaker overall than in the original story.
Because it's real life.
I mean, they were
every single like adaptation for like even like Marvel and DC, they're weaker because it has to fit like the real life aspect to it. So I mean, it only makes sense,
literally trapped by Buggy inside a simple wooden box, but Zoro and Luffy were so weak that they couldn't even break out of that. Although later on in the live action,
things
we actually
happen,
see Luffy apparently punching through stone, so a little bit of a head scratcher here for me. But actually, one other awesome change is that Nami's first staff can now collapse into a size that can be easily carried on her waist, which is pretty cool if you ask me. She didn't have that.
She was like Robin.
And actually, speaking of Nami, we see
DC
her actually doing burglar stuff in the live action, like breaking into a safe, which sadly we never actually got to see much during the anime or manga. Plus, I was completely shocked when Nami saw the devastating damage that Buggy did to Orange Town. I mean,
no,
damn,
Orange Town got
this
clapped.
Had way more impact than in the original story. But of course, that's not the only change to Buggy's part of the story, because in the live action, the clown is like 10 times more evil than in the actual anime.
I know.
I mean, originally, he never kidnapped
true.
all the villagers or threatened to torture a little kid. Like, whew. And the live action actually gave
bro
us a very...
He gave me like serious like Joker vibes, because you know the smile, things like that. It was more like his energy he gave off. It was more like Joker in a way. If you guys seen Batman movies, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Very rare big brain Luffy moment when he came up with the plan to trap Buggy's body parts in the crates here. Because if we actually compare this exact moment to the manga, it was actually Nami who decided to tie up Buggy's limbs with some rope here. However, the reward for saving this village was nothing compared to what it was in the anime. That's because the mayor of Orange Town offered live-action Luffy this tiny basket of food, but in the original, the crew came away with giant sacks stuffed full of goodies. Which now brings me to maybe one of the most controversial changes to the live action, which was
Garp shoes. It has to be Garp shoes. Garp was rocking some Air Maxes or Forces.
All the times that Nami hinted that she was never going to betray the crew. And well, it kind of did this weird, oh, is she gonna stay? Is she gonna go? Oh, she's actually leaving thing during the Baratie. Overall, I just feel like it really kind of spoiled the one mind-blowing twist from the original Eastern story.
Kinda, not necessarily, because it makes you, because it puts into your, like, while you're watching, like, say you have no context, like, okay, so is she gonna betray them or is she gonna not? She is or she gonna not? It makes you wonder, which is a good thing in my opinion. Or maybe I was misinterpreting what he's saying, but I thought that part was good. I was like, she had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, deciding because either like try to save her people or just like ditch them to go to the Straw Hats. But in the end, she did both. Well, she didn't ditch them, she kind of saved them, but you know what I mean.
Nami abandoned the crew at Baratie, kind of seeming actually evil. But of course, on the other hand, it was amazing to see these kind of like mini earbud versions of the transponder snails, which never have shown up in the original story. And so now we come to the single most changed arc of the entire story, and that's of course Syrup Village, where we meet Usopp for the very first time. And man,
I actually like this Usopp.
So different.
I like him so much more than the
this tiny little peaceful village in the hills into like this super busy shipbuilding islands. And I have to be honest, at first I thought it was like Water 7, but I liked it though. Eventually came around to like it when the live action kind of added Luffy describing his perfect ship, which just goes to show how important the ship is as a part.
I crossed my eye.
They actually gave Usopp a brand new job working on ships, which kind of helps explain a little bit better his ability to actually fix up the Mary during their future adventures.
That's true, yeah. Especially like Skypiea.
But that's really just the start of the wild changes in Syrup Village, because Nami bonding with Kaya was never part of the original story, though I will admit that the added character development for Kaya was really awesome, and she even gave my man Usopp the very first kiss.
I would say because in the anime, his fat nose cock-blocked him essentially. So because of that, he caught his W, and I respect Usopp for this a lot. Because Usopp is in live action, I started liking him more. I don't know about the anime version, because that's still my #1 op. I mean, hey man.
In the entire story.
Actually, no, Bon Clay. I can't say Bon Clay anymore.
I guess. But then they
dropped
the ball on Kaya's entire story arc by cutting the one scene where she actually stands up to Kuro in the original story. I mean, seriously, this was one moment to show some courage, but nope, gone. And speaking of Kuro, they actually cut out almost his entire crew, which, is kind of important for a pirate captain. And if that wasn't bad enough, they
in the anime, he did say that he killed off a lot of them. So maybe those are the only 2 left. I don't know. They were just making things work, so I guess.
Probably the most cringe characters in the entire show, Sham and Bucci. Plus, they
were
even
pretty
cut
cringe.
out this dude who was one of my favorite parts
That's
of
the
this
GOAT.
entire arc in the anime in the first place. Then we also have to mention the changes to this
Mary.
sheephead dude's story, because unlike in the anime, Mary is not a butler, but instead he's Kaya's financial advisor, which is honestly a little bit sad.
It was like the
he
same
was
thing
one
in
of
live
Kaya's
action, right?
only true friends in her entire household. And then of course he just ends up actually dying, unlike in the manga where he survives and then he was the one who gave the crew the ship himself. But now we sadly have some of the worst changes in the live action for me, which unfortunately
Garp shoes. He's gonna say Garp shoes. If he doesn't say Garp shoes, dislike the video right now.
all involve
Doomfist.
Usopp.
Oh,
So
I thought it was
first of all, they
Doomfist.
took away Usopp's long nose, which maybe
that's
I
fine.
can kind of understand look-wise why they did it. And then they made Usopp do literally nothing during the final fight to save Kaya. He's supposed to be a coward who then overcomes his fear, not just a coward.
No,
But
he's
then
just a coward.
The worst
No hate,
part
though,
is
you
that
know?
he cannot even fire a cannon. Like, that's just unacceptable to me. He's supposed to be an expert sharpshooter who can hit a rock
that's fair.
super far away. That is like his one thing that he's actually good at, and
Dang,
they took even
I was
that
dissing
away
him.
from him. Okay, but enough of Usopp. Let's talk about a really dumb change for Zoro's backstory instead. And that's because in the original story, we see Zoro talking to the master of the dojo before
Down these
Kurina
stairs?
even ever
Oh.
dies. However, in the live action, they literally never
thought about talking about down
interact
these stairs.
until Kuina's death, which just makes this awkward exchange where Zoro has to ask for
Yeah,
Kuina's
I was
sword.
like that. Okay, that one part I was like, okay, because he literally got like no, like no screen time whatsoever. I'm like, okay, let me take a sword. Just ask your master, like, what? But yeah,
instead of Koshiro giving it to him on his own just feels so weird. They also made Kuina's hair super blue for some weird reason instead of its
Okay,
normal
that wasn't even
black,
a problem.
and Zoro's famous sword is also slightly changed as the blade is missing the normal black part of the blade on the non-cut.
okay. Now that right there is just nitpicking. All right, there's nothing wrong with that sword, nothing whatsoever. Okay, the sword is perfectly fine. I remember I saw the sheath bend was when he rolled and people were pointing that out. I'm like, how do you guys even see that during the initial like watching through it? Because I'm like, how?
Cutting side. And so instead of the texture it has in the anime, it just has this uniform shiny metal kind of vibe to it. But the one change that I've been complaining about more than anything else since
Garp
the
shoes.
very first promotional images of the show came out is the way that the Mary's figurehead looks here. I mean, isn't this supposed to be the perfect friendly little sheep, not the stuff to summon Satan and curse my nightmares? But
Bro,
another thing
come
that made no
on.
sense here too was how Luffy didn't even know that he could blow himself to block the cannonball. I mean, he's had his devil fruit for over 10 years since he was a kid, and in the anime he was doing way crazier stuff than this with like no problem at all. And I know there was a lot of negativity, and the 2 episodes in Syrup Village were probably my least favorite, so now let's move on to probably the most amazing change in the entire live action, which is that they really turned Sanji's pervertedness meter all the way down to 0. Like maybe a little bit above, but
no, that's not good. You know, my goat Sanji, he has to be perverted. You know, if he's not perverted like that, is it really Sanji? No, it's just a normal cook. And what separates Sanji from other cooks is that he's also a pervert. So I mean, it's cool and all, right? Because I still like this regardless. But it have like the Sanji like little salt sprinkle on it, you know. It's Sanji, but like
seriously, it's like
watered
he's
down.
a new man who just happens to enjoy flirting with the ladies like Nami and Nojiko instead of being like super over the top weird with girls like he
Now,
is
bro's
in the
overly
anime.
weird.
And honestly, really almost
I still
all
don't
the
mind it, though, don't get me
changes
wrong.
at the Baratier were just fantastic. It
Yeah.
looks incredible, and the best part was that this place really gave us drunk Usopp, and what else could we possibly
Well, I mean,
ask
Usopp was a
Because if
rat.
you
And
notice they also changed the reason why Luffy was forced to work for Zeph, because originally Luffy launched a cannonball which crashed into the floating restaurant, so he was forced to work to pay off the damage. But in the live action, he just didn't have any money at all to pay the bill, which makes sense and was kind of funny and in line with Luffy's character, but a little bit less cool in my humble opinion. Plus, plus the decision to just completely eliminate Don Krieg from like ever showing
nah,
up at the
Don
Baratier
Krieg got
was a simply
by
amazing choice. Because while I don't love the fact that Garp felt that he needed to call Mihawk for help, the world's strongest swordsman new introduction showed us just how badass he truly is.
Bro, when he cut the bow, I was like, oh my days. It was so good.
Can I just say, I love that they introduced the fishmen in this arc already. Starting from this fishman serving as the restaurant's front of house to Arlong showing up like a mob boss.
Oh yeah, I had a great question. How come when the fishmen are always on the screen, they start playing some hip-hop trap music? I was just like, what are you trying to say, Netflix? You know, obviously it's a joke, but I was just like, that's crazy. Especially because you know how fishmen are and like how they got trees like that. I'm like, I see what you're doing there.
East Blue, it really
but it's just a joke.
Worked out well to expand the
seriously.
scope of the entire One Piece world and the East Blue in particular, I think. However, Arlong's fight with Luffy in episode 6 shows off one of the worst mistakes in the entire show, I think. And that's because when Arlong sends Luffy flying, we can clearly see that he's actually hurting Luffy with these blows.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, he shouldn't be able to hurt Luffy from that because he's literally a rubber man. Bro was taking fall damage and slam damage and punch damage, which he shouldn't because he's a rubber man. But they probably forgot. So I mean, I can't blame him for that. So
however, in reality, Luffy's rubber body should make him immune to damage from regular punches, kicks, and even bullets, like we saw early in episode 1 when Alvida smashed him with her club and shot him. Really, the only thing that should really cause Luffy any damage at this point are sharp objects like blades or teeth, and of course the obvious threat of drowning. And also, let's be real, the original Luffy would never get crushed by Arlong in this scene because he is way stronger than the fishman, but I guess we can say it's because this version of Luffy is in the end weaker than the original anime version.
He's
also,
trash.
Can I just point out how much Usopp's slingshot looks like a toy in this shot? I honestly never got that feeling when seeing it in the anime, but maybe that was...
I mean, I never noticed that.
If you've watched Through the Water 7 arc in the anime, then you should find that this next new scene is absolutely hilarious. And that's because when Sanji is talking to Luffy and Usopp on the Going Merry, he says that a captain's decisions are what separates him from the rest of the crew. And then Luffy literally looks right at Usopp, which is just a really fun Easter egg for viewers who know what happens later on in the story. If you don't know, I'm not gonna say anything. And earlier I said that Sir Village looks way different, but this next set is also way different from its original, because in the anime, Kokoyashi Village is shown as a tropical paradise which hides the dark secrets, but in the live action they just transformed it into a super rural village full of huts. Which I mean makes sense since these people are being bled dry, but I still miss the appearance of the anime, I'll be honest. Arlong Park also had a very serious...
I feel like, I know it's an adaptation though, but I feel like you can't come at it as an angle where it's like, okay, I want to have it 1-to-1, but you can't do that. And somebody said that when I first reacted to the trailer, because I was thinking the same thing, how other people think, like, okay, this isn't like 1-to-1, this looks horrible. In which, like I said before, I was completely wrong, and I'm sorry Netflix for even thinking that. So I mean, it doesn't have to be like that. It still give like a, I wouldn't say a tropical vibe whatsoever, but I mean, they did the best they could. Or they could.
Makeover. They basically made it a
wasn't even bad
with some random carnival games thrown in there, which
that part
was
questionable.
Different from the original location.
That's true. That was questionable,
also made
but it
one
didn't bother
other
me.
really confusing choice during this arc here, and that's because originally the people in Kokoyashi Village knew about Nami's sacrifice to work for Arlong from the very beginning, which made them never hate her in the first place. But in the live action, they don't know anything, and there's just this super rough dynamic of Nami literally forcing the villagers to cough up more cash. And so these people who in the original
that was an interesting twist to it
loved
though.
her in secret just think that she's a straight out traitor here. Plus then she had to spell it out for Nojiko so her own sister hit her.
What her name? Nojiko, I think you just said. Bro, people were going crazy with the full body hockey comments that I've seen on TikTok. Like, dog, it's okay to have a black actress, especially if Oda picked him himself. He was like, yeah, okay, I want her as it, which nothing's wrong with it. So I'm like, why are people so like upset about that and like clowning her for that? It's like so weird. So weird.
With a shovel. What? Then they also cut out these two bounty hunter brothers and this octopus fishman, which honestly I think is a good choice why they cut out the octopus, because honestly it would take a lot of really good CGI to make this character work at all.
I forgot his name.
He does play a pretty important role in the
future, with H,
so
I think.
wonder if they'll actually bring him back at some point.
Yeah, for like
but
Sabuti.
Now let's actually discuss some awesome and some also kind of bizarre changes about the world's greatest swordsman. Because in the anime, Mihawk actually never came to Baratie looking for Luffy, he only came to the floating restaurant chasing after Don Creek. But in this version, he weirdly follows actual orders from the Marines, which is kind of out of character for him, I'd say. The live-action Mihawk also makes a direct comment about Luffy's head, which is just such cool foreshadowing of his connection to Shanks. And he actually goes on to compare Luffy to Roger, which is the same thing that Zeph does later on when talking to Garp. So there are a lot more obvious connections to Luffy and Roger than we ever had in the anime, where it's just kind of hinted at very carefully. However, one absolute terrible change I think that they made to his awesome character are his boots. I mean, just look at those things here.
How are you gonna point out Mihawk's boots, but not point out Garp's shoes? How do you not do that? Bro, he has on Nikes. You haven't pointed that out? Listen, Ohara. You are my goat, my inspiration. However, you have to point out the facts. You know, one of the biggest mistakes was Garp's shoes. Alright? Let's just get that out the way.
I've never seen
number 47.
But honestly, it looks like
Garp's
he's ready to ride
Marine
a
Ford
bull,
ones.
not fight legendary duels, in my opinion. But speaking of character designs overall, they made so many amazing improvements on other characters' outfits. In particular, the Straw Hats were many of the outfits that we actually see in volume covers of the manga.
Take my Garp shoes, please.
Clothes from most of the East Blue. Although I have to say, some changes were a little bit too far out there for me, like Sanji literally wearing Vans while stranded during his flashback.
I didn't even notice that. He has Vans? Oh, that's what I was gonna point out. They had jeans. I don't think they... Oh, wait. No, people have jeans. I'm crazy. I didn't know he had Vans. That's insane.
There were also Ben Beckman and Belmare, who both...
Oh, Ben Beckman looks like somebody's unk. Like, who is this? That is insane. That doesn't bother me that much. But, like, bro, Ben Beckman doesn't... Like, he has, like, a built physique. Almost like me in a way. Me and Ben Beckman. But this guy right here looks like somebody's, like, librarian or, what was that? I think it was, like, a troll or... Not troll. He was, like, a dwarf from Harry Potter. I forgot his name. But that's what he looks like. But, yeah, me and him look the same physique-wise, and he does not look like him whatsoever, so... I could have been, like the actor for that.
Should have in the original story. But the single worst character design
Garp shoes.
To me just has to be Arlong, and that's because
bro, okay,
dude is just too small. Let's be real. In the anime, the fishman towers
he does look pretty
over
small,
Luffy
yeah, that's
and
fair.
The crew, which really adds a sense of intimidation and fear. I mean, seriously, look at this guy in the anime. He's basically twice as tall as Ginzo, but in the live action, he's
so small.
Slightly taller, which just doesn't have the same effect. It looks he has like a too big head for a too small body.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, why is his head so big? Pause, but like. I would like, bro, his head did not fit his body. I thought I was tripping, but I was not. Okay, I thought it was only one. His torso needs to be like huge. That's just how Arlong is.
They made Nami bury her treasure right next to her mother's grave. I mean, Nojiko even pointed out how kind of messed up that is. Which, even with her excuse, is still messed up because in the anime, Belmare's grave was by the ocean.
All right, we're gonna get to the Garp shoes.
Money buried in a tangerine grove. But there's actually one other major change to the live action that I haven't mentioned at all yet, and that is everything involving Buggy the Clown. And if you want to hear my full thoughts on his added involvement in the story, and my entire thoughts on all 8 episodes together, then you can watch my full breakdown and review of the live action right here. Thanks for watching.
I love you, bro, right? But you forgot Garp shoes. I expect to see a full video about you going over Garp shoes. Okay? That's one thing I need to see, okay? But anyways, that's that. Let me know your biggest critique when it comes to live action anime. For me, I've said it multiple times. You probably heard me say it like 20,000 times already in this one video. It's Garp shoes. Okay, those are like too clean to be in One Piece. But anyways, that's that. Catch you guys later, and subscribe as well. Bye bye.